Are you looking for some really good TikTok hacks that you can use with your Cricut? Well, stay tuned. I'm going to show you guys 5 TikTok hacks. So definitely make sure you guys stick all the way to the end so you don't miss a thing. Hi, I'm Crystal. Welcome to Design Bundle's YouTube channel. If you guys are new, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button as well as the notification bell down below so you guys do not miss any of our crafting tutorials. TikTok hack number 1 is your Cricut mats. How can you keep them new, specifically the fabric ones? Well, we have a hack for you. So let's go ahead and check it out. For today's hack, this is actually going to be really perfect for your felt as well as your fabric, but also including your leather. So with this one right here, I've got some glitter leather, and then on top of it, I've got some little strings that can be left behind and all of that. So if you guys are familiar with cutting any sort of fabric or felt, you know what mess it does to those pink mats, and you really can go through them quite fast. But you can also definitely wash them, so make sure you guys check out our video. I'll have it linked above for you guys of how easy it is to wash your Cricut mats. All right, so for today, I'm actually going to show you guys with a piece of leather. This one, like I said, is glitter, so it'll get all over the mat, and it's going to leave some little strings behind. So how can we keep our Cricut mat looking new? Transfer tape. So what we're going to do is we are going to trim us down a 12 by 12 because our Cricut mat is 12 by 12. We're going to cut down a 12 by 12 sheet and we are going to place it on our mat. So you're going to be able to load your materials on here, and once it's gunked up, we can actually just peel it away. So how are we going to do that? We are going to go ahead and take our transfer tape. You could definitely use whatever transfer tape you want to, but today I'm going to be using the Siser one. It's just going to be a whole lot easier to work with, especially because it has that backing while I'm cutting it down and all of that kind of stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and use my paper trimmer to trim this down. You could also just use a pair of scissors, because if you did not know, each one of these little squares here is 1 inch. So if you guys are new to crafting with the Cricut and vinyl and things like that, you may notice on the back side of your adhesive vinyl or your transfer tape, you may see some squares. Each one is 1 inch, so you can literally count 12 up, 12 over. Obviously, usually they're 12 inches wide, and you're gonna be good to go. All right, so I'm just gonna go ahead and feed this through here. I'm gonna get it at that 12-inch mark. Just get this guy up here and get it perfectly at our 12 inches. Looks good to me. And then we're gonna go ahead and trim. Now I'm gonna go ahead and set this guy out of the way. All right, so now that we have our transfer tape, I'm gonna leave the backing on first. We're gonna go ahead and get this down. This is gonna help me get it down without having to touch everything. That's why it's very important, or it's helpful, if you will, to have the ones that have the backing. So we're just gonna go ahead and line this up as if I was loading a piece of material like adhesive vinyl or something like that. So I'm going to really line that up, getting it nice and straight. I'm going to try to get one side, and slowly, just as if I was, you know, putting down transfer tape to pick something up, nice and slow from one side to the next. Next, I'm going to go ahead and take my squeegee here, and we are going to go ahead and just squeegee this guy down to remove any sort of bumps, and then also just to ensure that it is got a nice hold on it. There we go, perfect. So now what we're gonna do is just take us a corner and remove our backing. All right, so I'm gonna be real slow and peel this guy off. I had a little corner over here where the paper was wanting to stay. Don't know what's happening there. I may have over rubbed, but I'm gonna go ahead and just be nice and slow and kind of work myself diagonally and just peel this guy off. And there we have it. All right, so if you have any sort of, you know, bumps or anything like that, you can just literally roll this just a little bit, like so, and kind of work those out. So you really don't want to touch this too much. We don't want to make it unsticky. Now let's test this thing out. So we are going to go ahead and I'm going to do this one right here. We are going to load it right up here at the top. All right, just as we normally would. And then we're gonna go ahead and get ready to cut something out. So we're over here in Cricut Design Space. I'm simply just gonna do a shape. I'm gonna come over here, grab us a heart here, and we will cut something maybe about like that. I'm trying to make sure I have enough space. Good to go. Let's go ahead and hit make it. I'm gonna choose on the mat, and then I'm gonna hit confirm. Next, I'm gonna go ahead and hit continue, and now we're gonna go ahead and pick out our material. All right, for our material, I'm gonna come over here to browse, and I'm gonna go ahead and type in leather. I'm gonna go ahead and choose the shimmer leather. I'm gonna hit done. We are ready. All right, so we've got it loaded in our machine here. Now with this, if you guys did not know, with your Cricut Explorer machines, you can use your fine point blade to cut leather. A little tip here is if you are struggling to cut this out, all you have to do is come right here where it says pressure and change it from default to more, but I'm not gonna do that right now. I think we're gonna be good to go. We're gonna hit go. We're gonna see how it works. All right, my hack was almost a fail. So I totally forgot to tape this down. Sometimes when you're working with these leathers or material, you may need to kind of tape around it, and that's what I'm gonna do. So I almost got it, but my leather kind of shifted there and got out of track. So we're just gonna go ahead and load this again. All right, I don't need to change any of my settings there. All right, so what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna go ahead and add a little piece of tape like I normally would. If you guys have been following me for a while, you guys are familiar with this. So I'll kind of go, I may get one at the top and the bottom. So just like this, just to kind of help hold that guy in place. And I'm gonna probably get one a little bit more on this side here. And I may get one more little piece on each corner here, just to make sure it's gonna kind of hold this guy down. Sometimes when you're working with little weird materials like this that kind of are holding down, obviously you wouldn't have to do this with the felt or the fabric, but with the leather we do. So we are gonna go ahead and load this guy again. And now that we have it taped down, we're gonna have this guy cut it out for us. All right, let's try this. We're gonna hit go. All right, so we are gonna go ahead and unload this just like so. And then we are gonna pick our heart right off the mat so you guys can see that there. It still cuts, but it's going to keep our mat clean. So let's go ahead and peel this off. And you may notice some little pieces of the strings and stuff like that it's leaving behind, as well as all of this tape, which I would definitely go back and pick off. But what's really awesome is now all we have to do, which you can see I actually had that a little bit too deep. I think I probably should have went with a little bit more thin leather instead of the shimmer, honestly. But you guys can see I can peel it off and my mat is still brand new. So you can either do this right out of the gate when you first get them, or you could definitely, if your mats are starting to wear down and stuff like that, but you have enough stick to hold on your transfer, reuse those mats. So that's definitely a really cool hack to get the most life out of your mat. TikTok hack number 2. I'm going to show you guys a really cool weeding hack, and there's actually been a few over the years, but I actually really think this one is quite genius. So what you're going to be doing is bringing in your design or writing out, say for example I brought in a font and I'm actually writing out my own saying or maybe my name or something like that. Now you guys know with something like this, whenever you're normally weeding, you're weeding the whole thing around that, but to make it a lot easier, all you simply have to do is come up here to the offset and then click on it there. You're gonna see that initial offset. Now you guys can see if I go to peel off that offset, it's gonna kind of go around everything. But if we shrink that up a little bit, so let's say that we went to, let's try 19. You notice how those are starting to separate a little bit more. I'm gonna even do it a little bit further and see if I can really kind of get those to separate. So this one's gonna be attached there, same as those. Let's try 10 and just see what that gives us. A little bit there. I'm still a little attached up here and there, but I'm fine with that. So hopefully you guys can see, I'm gonna hit apply. You guys can see that now, and I'm actually gonna change that just for a quick second so you guys can see that purple. So you guys see that outline there? That's what we're gonna be able to weed away. We're gonna have that whole backing, but we're gonna weed that piece away just to make it a whole lot easier whenever it comes to weeding. Now what we want to do is make sure that both colors are the exact same. So we're just going to go ahead and check that layer, and then we're going to go ahead and change it back to black. You're going to kind of see like a blob going on here, but it is 2 separate pieces. You can see that here, 2 separate layers. What we want to do is make sure that they're going to cut in the same spot. So we don't want to weld them because it's going to be this blob. What you want to do is click attach. So you still have the 2 layers, but they're going to cut in the same spot on the mat. They're not going to try to separate to 2 different mats. Now, another hack before we actually take it to cut it out and put it to the test is a weeding box. So if you guys are new to a Cricut, you may have not heard of a weeding box. You're just gonna go ahead and come up here to shapes, and then we are gonna choose a square, and then you're just simply gonna go ahead and size this guy out. You just want it to be bigger than your design. We could go ahead and arrange this to the back, that way we can kind of see that and really center that up. It doesn't have to be perfect. Another thing you can do is lock this if you want it to be really close and perfect like this, so you're not wasting a ton of material. So we can do that. Then we can lock that guy back, and then we would do the exact same thing. So if you go ahead and select both of these and we hit attach, it'll actually change the colors together. So you can see that. So when we go to weed, you're just gonna weed that box out. It just creates a weeding box. So that's a hack that's been really helpful over the years. So you may have learned something new there as well. So say for example, I was cutting out multiple things on one sheet. I could put weeding boxes around everything, so that way I'm doing those individual. So just another little tip. All right, so now what I wanna do is let's go ahead and select this and just size it down. I'm just gonna go ahead and put down 4 inches wide. There we go, just get us like a little bit. I'm actually gonna go ahead and change that to the height there. I'm gonna do 4 inches high. Just give us a little bit of room to work with. All right, so let's go ahead and test it out. We're gonna go ahead and hit make it and cut it out. So let's get this guy loaded on the mat. All right, first things first, let's go ahead and just load this on the mat and get that out of the way. So we're gonna do that there. And then we're gonna come over here and choose that we're gonna cut it on the mat, hit confirm, and we are ready. All right, so let's go ahead and hit continue. All right, so let's go ahead and choose our material. We're gonna do premium vinyl permanent glossy, and we're gonna load it in the machine and get ready to cut it out. All right, so let's go ahead and hit go. All right, so it's done. Let's go ahead and unload it and test this guy out. So we're gonna unload. I'm gonna set this out of the way. I'm gonna go ahead and trim down the excess. All right, so let's put it to the test. Now, normally when we weed this out, we would have this entire piece that we would have to go through all of those little pieces. So let's start by weeding out the offset, just so you can visually see how it's going to separate. So it's gonna be going just around it like so. Oh my gosh, I'm loving this hack. This is so, so good. And this is even better than the weeding box, honestly, because you're able to really go in here individual and get those. Whereas the weeding box is just gonna separate each at a time, which the weeding box is perfect if you're doing a bunch of designs at the same time. But this guy right here is going to be perfect for helping you weed stuff out. So I'm really, really excited about it. So we're just going to weed the offset, and it's gonna look really cool at first. Hopefully you guys are actually even picking this up here. So I'm just gonna go through here, and we are gonna just continue to weed all of these pieces. Now, if there is a TikTok hack that you guys have seen, please explain it down below. I would love to go check it out. If you guys have seen something that has helped you guys along the way, or if you guys have your own tip that you don't think that nobody really knows about, whenever it comes to weeding your adhesive vinyl, definitely drop that in the comments below. All right, so I'm just gonna go in here. So yes, it's gonna be a little bit more slow and tedious of going through here and grabbing all these little pieces and stuff, but compared to the risk of losing, especially if you are new to this, of losing your design because you've picked up pieces and lost them, or dropped the vinyl back on top of itself and things like that. So lots of different things can go wrong, especially when you're a new crafter, and we all know how devastating it is whenever we have those spells. I had to stop for a second because I was like, something happened with my offset. I'm missing some pieces of offset, but these pieces were entirely coming out. That makes sense. I had to refer back. So if you guys are ever struggling, definitely just click over on Cricut Design Space, take it back to the canvas where you can visually see that design, and then keep on weeding. So for this one, these pieces were coming all the way out. So I'm just gonna go ahead and continue to weed through here. An extra tip for you, if you take your lint roller and set it aside while you're weeding, you can actually take those pieces. So instead of doing like I'm doing and sticking them all over your hand, you can actually stick them onto the lint roller, and it's gonna hold it for you, and then you can just pull off that sheet and throw it away. All right, so I'm gonna bring this up. So this is what it looks like. So that was with the offset. We have weeded out that offset layer. So as you can see there, we have our design weeded out. So technically this guy is weeded. All that we have is the remaining outside. So all you simply have to do is grab the outside and completely pull it away. And that's it. It's completely weeded and ready to go. So I'm gonna bring that back up there so you guys can see that. Looks amazing. And honestly, I think I forgot a few pieces. So like these pieces, I wasn't realizing. These are gonna go as well. So I'll just kind of go back through here and pluck those out, as well as one more here, and I think that was all of them. So there we go. I'm gonna bring that up so you guys can see it one more time. So you guys can see we have completely weeded that out. So hopefully if you are somebody that is new to weeding adhesive vinyl, or you struggle and you don't wanna try to weed that entire thing, the offset hack is amazing, but definitely bring that offset down a little bit so that way it's separating. If not, you're gonna still be weeding that design technically the same. So definitely make sure you kind of make sure they separate into rows, if you will. But I love this hack. So you guys definitely let me know in the comments below if this is a hack that you guys are gonna test out. TikTok hack number 3. Now you guys don't blink, don't go nowhere, because you don't want to miss this thing, and it's going to happen so fast. You're going to be like, what was the hack? Let me rewind. What happened? All right, so you guys notice that I have my Cricut Explorer 3 here, and so if we wanted to move this around the craft room to try to move this over, it's not that heavy, but obviously we got to kind of scoot it around, right? So we got to pick it up and move it over here and put it wherever we want it. Not with this one. You see it's moving around. So for this one, I've actually put wheels on it. You guys may have seen this hack out there. Hopefully you guys can see these little wheels. There's different ones. So whenever I went looking for mine, I'll have a link down below as well as some other ones. It was a very trendy hack that was happening. You could not get your hands on the really good wheels. And so these ones are like a metal ball that kind of rubs around. So you may notice mine's not as easy as you may see some others. But you guys can grab these, and there are so many in a box. So you could really load this up. I really probably should have even done like, you know, 2 wheels here, 2 wheels here, and 1 here, because the Cricut Maker is a little bit heavier. This would have worked really good the way that I had it. 2 and 2 and then here. I really could get away with that on this one, but with the Maker, it is a little bit more heavier. So I need to go back. I have a box of these. I need to grab them and add a couple more. So it's so easy to do. So you're just simply going to get these. I'm actually going to try to flip this guy and bring it up here to the camera down here. You guys can hopefully see those wheels happening there. So all you're simply going to do is you're going to get your box of wheels, and it's going to be just like a command strip. If you guys are familiar with command strips, there is adhesive. You know, you're going to peel that off, and the adhesive's going to stick to the wall or whatever. Well, that's how these wheels are. They just have double-sided adhesive on them. So you're just going to peel that sticky off, and you're going to place them wherever you want. So if I ever want to remove these, they're going to be very easy to remove. It's just like a double-sided foam tape, if you will. So I'll actually link below the ones that were trending. I think they have more of, they go side to side, but I think their wheel goes a little bit smoother. I'm going to have those, like I said, as well as these. So if you guys do want these exact ones, highly recommend it. It is so nice to have it in the craft room and be able to move this across the table so much easier, because you can't do that. I mean, you see, I mean, I can move it, but it's kind of stiff going there compared to the wheels. So highly recommend that you guys try out this hack. If you guys have already added wheels to your Cricut, definitely let us know in the comments below, and let me know maybe what wheels did you guys purchase. Was it the ones that kind of went side to side? Or if you guys haven't seen this and now you definitely want to put wheels on your Cricut machine. TikTok hack number 4. We're going to be working with pins. So you guys know whenever it comes to the Cricut and it comes to writing, you have this entire outline. It doesn't do this fill in. Now we do have some fonts out there that are perfectly filled in, but I'm going to show you guys a little hack that we've seen, and I'm actually testing this for the first time, so we're going to do this together. All right, so let's start working with some fonts. So what we're gonna do is go over here to text. I've already uploaded the font that I wanna use today, so we're gonna go to font. And then to find the fonts that you've actually uploaded on your own, you're simply gonna go to system. And then I'm gonna type in my font. So it is Dairy Day. So there it is, it popped up for me. Now, if I wanna make this even easier, you can simply select where it says bookmark. And now when I go to my bookmark, it's gonna bring up all of those favorite fonts. I love that feature, especially when you're uploading your very own. It's just so much easier to find those. So we're gonna go ahead and double click on that, and we are ready to test this out. So let's just do happy birthday. So let's say we were doing like a little sentiment. and we were gonna have happy birthday, which now I need to kind of move this over. Now you notice this is a basic cut. So you notice up here at operation, this is a basic cut, so it looks all filled in. So if I was to cut this out with adhesive vinyl or HTV, that's exactly how it's going to be. But once we come up here and we change it to a pin, which is right here, it's going to do this. So it's going to now just do this outline thing. How can we fix that? Well, there was a TikTok hack. We seen it and we wanted to put it to the test. So what they showed was you need to come up here to offset. So we're going to create an offset. So this has actually got an offset. We don't want that. We're going to bring the offset inwards, if you will. So that way when the pen writes, it's going to write that second time, which then will kind of help fill that in. So what you want to do is right now it's at 0.25. We want to go on the negative. All right, so what we want to do is you want to have that negative, right? So we're going to put the dash in front of it, and then we're going to put 0.0, and we're going to put 16, enter. So you guys can see that now. See how it's got the blue? It's filling in there. And so what you can do is you can kind of play around with that number and say, for example, like you put in, let me put in like 30, enter, and you may notice that offset just coming further inside. So that's just going to do the writing on the inside there, and it's going to fill it in for us. So I'm gonna do something about like that. I think that's gonna help fill in some of it. I noticed, like I said, when I was at the 1.6, it was perfect here, but technically that looks like it's just rewriting over the whole thing. So I think what we're looking for is that blue to be on the inside, and that's what we're getting. So let me even try just 40 just to see what it looks like. And so that's kind of backing itself up. Now I think let's just try it. We may have to try this a couple times, and it may work exactly on that 16. If it goes over it twice, maybe it's perfect. And let's just try it. If not, we're gonna try it again at the 30. All right, so I'm gonna try it at the 30 because it's filling it in a little bit more. There's a few gaps that are out of here. The 0.16 was perfect, so that may be perfect for you, but I'm gonna try that 30, all right? So we're gonna go ahead and hit apply, and then we are gonna get ready to work on this. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna go ahead and hit attach. So you wanna make sure you hit attach, so that way it's going to do it in the same spot. If not, it may separate itself and all of that. So what we're gonna do now that it's attached is I'm gonna go ahead and size this guy down just a little bit. Let's do something about this. This is perfect. And then we're gonna go ahead and choose a pen. I'm gonna choose a darker color, so I've got like a dark blue here. So Cricut, you guys know, has a million pens, and honestly it would be really good too with the marker tips too, but these are gel pens. So I wanted to try it with a smaller tip. So this is a gel pen, and let's see if this thing works. Now the one way that you actually really want to store your Cricut pens is upside down. So you really want to have your box when it's in a storage position like this, that way it keeps the ink always flowing in that position. So there's another tip for you. Store your pens upside down. All right, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna test this just to make sure it's ready to go. And what we wanna do is we wanna load this into this clamp. You don't need to take out your blade. You're just gonna load it in that second clamp. Push down till you hear a click and close the door. All right, so what we're gonna do is we are going to load our paper on here, and we're gonna put this guy to the test. So let's go ahead and hit make it. We're gonna choose on the mat and hit confirm. Next up, we're gonna go ahead and hit continue. All right, so it's ready. You can see here it says to load your pen into the clamp A, which we've already done. We don't even need a tool here. You can see that it's telling us we don't even need a tool because I didn't choose any sort of cut settings. So it doesn't matter. Just choose your medium cardstock as you normally would. It's not gonna cut a thing. We're gonna load it in here and we're gonna test this thing out. So fingers crossed. You guys let me know in the comments below if you guys have tested this out. So remember, you need the negative. So it's just your dash, and then you're gonna have the 0.0, and I did 30. Just play around with it till you see it kind of fill inwards. So you're bringing the offset from the outside to the inside. We're gonna hit go. Here we go, moment of truth. We're gonna see if it works. All right, so where I thought it was done, it actually was not. So it's telling us to load our pen, our second pen, and hit go. It's because we have the two different layers. So if yours does this, that's what's going on. So we're gonna go ahead and hit go again, and it's gonna go over everything again. So this should be the offset now, so it should be going inside now and filling everything in. And also, by the way, guys, the font that I'm using today is completely free. I have it linked down below for you guys. So definitely make sure you head on over and snag it. And it's looking amazing. Oh my gosh, it is filling it in for us. That was absolutely perfect. I do think I'm gonna find, nope, it filled it in. I was sitting here thinking it may not. So the 0 point, that was for me. Yours may be different. Mine was the negative and the negative 0.030. We're gonna unload it and we're gonna check it out. So I'm gonna bring it up so you guys can check it out at the same time. Hopefully you guys can see that nice and clear. So there we have it. It is amazing. It looks so, so good. I am actually really, really shocked. There's not one issue. There's not one problem. This is an amazing hack. I have to say, out of all the hacks today, this one is by far my favorite. And this has to be my favorite hack of all time, I feel like, especially whenever it comes to the pins. It completely filled it in. So there's 2 steps. It's gonna ask you to load another pin and stuff because it is 2 different layers. You can make sure that they're chosen as the same color, and I don't think it's actually going to stop. So they may have accidentally been chosen as 2 different colors. So make sure they're chosen as the same color, which we'll check out in just 2 seconds. And we'll go over that, and it shouldn't stop itself. So first it's gonna do the first one, the outline, and then it's gonna fill it in. But it did, it absolutely filled it in, and it looks perfect. It doesn't look like a blob or anything. And I'm gonna bring it up to this camera too, just to kind of see if you guys can see that there. Hopefully you guys can. I really love it. It filled it in. I'm absolutely shook. You guys let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Are you guys gonna try this out? Have you already tried this out? And if you're messing up and you're like, what's happening? You're probably forgetting to put the minus. So put that little dash sign first. I'm gonna bring it up here and show you guys one more time. I cannot get over this. This is absolutely crazy. Wow, shook. Love it. So, so good. What a good hack. That's crazy. All right, so to make sure that both of your pen colors are the same so it doesn't stop in between, what you need to do is you're gonna check on those. So for example, here's our first one. If you come up here to your pen color, you can see here, you can choose. So this one is midnight. So let's click on the second layer here, and it is also midnight. So they were both midnight, so it definitely may stop in between. I've never usually have seen that before, so I'm not too sure about that, but totally okay. I'd rather stop in between and tell it to go one more time. You're simply gonna hit the go button one more time. So when you do this hack, don't think that whenever it goes around that first time, it's completely done. Make sure and look at the screen. You may have to hit it one more time. I can't even get over it. Like I said, guys, I know I keep going on and on and on, but this has definitely shook me today. I hope it has definitely done the same thing for you guys today. All right, so let's move on to Cricut hack number 5. For our last Cricut hack is, what can we do with our scraps? So you guys know, especially if you guys are new or if you guys have been around for a long time, we save every little piece. You can even see this little guy here. We save our scraps, right? They are all sizes. I've dug through and found some stuff that was similar, kind of trimmed them down a little bit, but we're gonna trim them even further in a minute. So what can you do with these scraps? So here is a TikTok hack for you. So let's go ahead and start out with our font, and then I'm gonna show you how we're gonna get these guys loaded on the mat so we can make a multicolored design. So we're gonna come over here to our text again. This is another free font for you guys. It's gonna be linked down below. So I'm gonna come over here to my fonts, and I'm going to go to, I should have saved it already, but we're gonna go over here to our system. I'm gonna type in Timberly, and there we have it. I'm gonna click on it. I'm gonna go ahead and put it on my bookmarks because I like all of my designs to be under there. We've got that, double click, we're ready to go. Let's go ahead and type out summer. All right, perfect. So now what we want to do is figure out our sizing. I'm going to kind of stretch this out just a little bit. So these are going to be about 2 inches high is what it's showing so far. Let's see, I really want it to kind of be 3 inches. Let's just do 9 inches, enter. That's gonna give us 2.1. So I'm good with it. It is what it is. We're gonna get some color out of here. So this guy is completely ready to go. You can see it's all solid black. It would either be black, blue, but we're gonna make a multicolor using our scraps. So we're gonna go ahead and hit make it. I'm gonna go ahead and just prep this guy and have it ready to go, and then we're gonna start working on our scraps. So we're gonna hit confirm or on the mat. I can't even remember what I was doing. We're gonna hit continue. And then for our material, this is all the same material. I'm gonna choose the premium vinyl glossy, which is right here. We're gonna click that. So this is ready, all right? So what we need to do is I'm actually gonna scoot this guy for just a second. I'm gonna figure out, so this is gonna go about 9 inches here. So let's see, if we're at 9 and I probably have 9 colors, I could probably do 1 inch on each one. So I think we're good on that. Let's do it. So we are gonna do, since we're at the 9 inch, like we said, we're gonna do 1 inch on each one. And so I'll actually probably do one a little bit bigger towards the end just to make sure. So I've got my orange here. I'm gonna line this up to that 1 inch mark. All right. And we are going to trim it. Now, if you have something curved a little bit wonky, you may want to trim that, especially if you're lining them up. But since this one's going to start out here, I'm not too concerned about it. So we're just going to go ahead, and they don't have to perfectly line up at the 1 inch mark. You're just going to get these guys all the way across. And I'm also not concerned about the height. See how that height adjustment's going to be different? I'm not concerned. Now, if you really want to coordinate these, you want to line up your colors first and then get ready to load them. But for now, we're just going to load them. So I'm going to go ahead and keep on cutting these guys at the 1 inch mark. So many different things. You could cut out shapes with this. Whether it's a pattern or whatever you got going on. So we've got that one there. I think I'm gonna do the pink next. And see, and even at that, this one is a little bit bigger, but maybe I want it to kind of spread out a little bit more. We can definitely do that. We'll go back in here, trim this one to the 1 inch. Get it loaded. So no rhyme or rhythm. It doesn't have to be absolutely perfect. Let's go ahead and get our yellow in there. Get another 1 inch mark there. Perfect. All right, we're gonna line it up right there. Next, I'm gonna go into this lighter pink. Once again, you definitely wanna make sure, so if it's a little bit wonky, make sure it's kind of a little bit more of a straight edge. So that way these guys are lining up perfectly so you don't accidentally not include something. This one's already cut for us, so we are perfectly gonna be able to line this guy up. There we go. And I think we really just need one more. So I think I'm gonna go with the blue. We're gonna go with this darker blue here. And so I've got a little bit of a wonky side on that one, so I'm gonna flip it over, get our 1 inch, and load it right here. And I think I'm actually gonna get one more because that 9 inch is kind of off just a smidge, just to make sure, but we're just going to get our purple loaded right there, and there you have it. So you guys can see there, look at all of our colors on the mat. So we've got these guys loaded. Now we're ready to cut it out. So we're just gonna make sure everything is in place. I'm gonna shut my door from our last one. We're going to load it, and we're gonna let it cut this guy out for us. In the meantime, while that's going, I'm gonna scoot these guys out of the way and pick up my scraps for a later project. All right, moment of truth, we're gonna go ahead and unload it. So what we're gonna do, normally we're flipping this off. We're not gonna do that. We're gonna weed it right here. So if you didn't wanna waste any of these little pieces, you may wanna have already cut those down. Me, I'm not concerned about it. These were some scrap pieces. So now let's go ahead and get ready to weed it. All right, so we're just gonna go ahead and start to peel off. I'm just gonna make sure my pieces are laying down. There you have it. Just being careful not to tear anything off. So we're gonna get this guy. Perfect. Get into the blue. I can see where a little bit of that S came into the blue. So cool. Hopefully you guys are checking this out. You guys are getting it. So you wanna be real careful because these pieces are not attached. You guys know, this is just, there's nothing for it to kind of hold on to in a sense. So I'm just gonna be real slow and continue to weed all of these pieces. I'm getting so excited seeing this come together. This would be really cool to make decals for your laptop or maybe your car. You could be making car decals. So many different ideas. Your phone cases, anything you can stick adhesive vinyl. Use your scraps. So pull out your scraps this weekend, play around, and come up with your very own stuff. Imagine doing your like logo with this. So much fun. Personalizing a water bottle for somebody. The possibilities are endless with this. All right, here we go. I'm gonna go ahead and get this last little piece right there. So I did get a little bit of that R over into the purple. I think that came out so good. Check out how stinking cute that is. I love it. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna grab a piece of transfer tape. All right, so I'm gonna get me a piece of transfer tape here. I'm just gonna go ahead and trim that guy off, just like that. And now we're ready to pick this guy up. So I'm gonna go over this, and I can trim off the excess here in just a minute. I'm gonna go from one side and work my way down to the next. So let me go ahead and grab a squeegee. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and take our squeegee here, and we are just going to rub to pick up our adhesive vinyl. All right, so I think I've got this guy ready to go. So we are gonna do just as normal, and we are now going to flip this over. Now that it has something to support it, you don't wanna try to pull these off ahead of time because you're gonna have no backing. So we're gonna go ahead and go through here, and I'm trying to leave the backing on because until you have something ready to stick this on, you wanna keep your backs on here. Now say for example, this was gonna be for sale, you would definitely just wanna add a different backing on here. You wouldn't wanna sell it with all these tiny little pieces like so. All right, so now what we can do, once it's like this, we can go through here and trim all that off. So you would go through here, we would trim off all of that excess, get these extra ends off, and maybe this one down here. And there we have it. We have this really cool design that you guys are ready to stick on your laptop or maybe on the back of your car. So check that out. We were able to create a rainbow design using our scrap pieces. And honestly, as small as this is, I just needed little scrap pieces like this. So you can accomplish so many of these with little bitty scraps. So if you guys have been trying to find something to do with those scraps, grab them out and put them to work because you guys are gonna be able to make so many fun decals, especially even imagine adding these to your tumblers. You guys all know that we are addicted to a certain tumbler, right? And so imagine personalizing your tumblers or even like your coolers. These would be perfect to make for like Father's Day to put on his cooler because you know Dad's out fishing and all that. So maybe make him some fun stuff for his toolboxes or tackle boxes. Love these. You could definitely sell them. So, so cute. And then after that, you're just gonna go ahead and peel these backings off like so. I'll go ahead and peel one off so you guys can kind of see that there. There you have it. I'll bring it up here really fast. So you're just gonna peel those off. But for me, for now, I'm gonna go ahead and leave it like this until I find something I wanna stick it on. And there you guys have it. There was 5 really fun TikTok hacks. You guys let me know out of all of the hacks, which one was your favorite and which one, or maybe which ones you guys are gonna be putting to the test. I love them all, but I have to honestly say that pin hack was mind-blowing. I have never seen that before, and kudos to whoever invented that because that was so, so good. So we have all been struggling with trying to figure out how to fill in those fonts, and now we have it. So good. I'm really, really excited about that one, but I also loved the color combo and all of that kind of stuff with the scrap pieces, especially such a good way to use those scrap pieces. I love it. Hope you guys have enjoyed this. If you have, please consider hitting that like button down below. And if you guys are new here, like I said, and you haven't already subscribed, please consider hitting that subscribe button as well as that notification bell down below so you guys don't miss any of our crafting tutorials. Bye for now.